Why are you asking me for username? Okay. Right, so I'm trying to create a brand new account so that, whatever work we do, we can coordinate from there. And would you like to receive product updates? No, I don't want. Go ahead. It's trying to identify I'm a human. All right, my email. Okay. 67805. Let's have a teacher. It never used to ask all of these things before. Changed. It's taking me to some universe. Okay, so let's create the first repository. Just call it as DevOps. And I'll make it private. Okay, question here. I know everybody else over here knows about repository. Romana, you also know about repository, or is this the first time you're seeing repositories?
First time seeing the repository.
Okay.
Here it is in GitHub.
Okay, so a repository is a place where you can store all of your code. In TFS, you had similar, I don't know what it was called before, I've forgotten it already, but you have a place where you check in all your code, right? So you can have different types of code. You can have a backend, front end. In backend, you might have multiple microservices. So each one of them could have potentially a repository. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to create a repository called DevOps, and I'm changing the visibility to private so that not everybody is able to see it in the public. And then I would say, add a README file. We'll talk about this later, and create repository. So this repository, yeah.
Probably at some point you have to give access to us, right? 4 of us.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So once I've added this repository, I'm going to go here, and there should be a collaborator. You haven't invited any collaborator. Let's add people. Okay, tell me the email address or the username. One of you. Romana, tell me yours.
Yeah. Romana.sadek@gmail.com. Or Romana S-A. That's the username.
Okay. Add Romana to this repository. Who else wants to get added here?
Mansa, M-A-N-A-S-A 2116@gmail.
This one here?
Yes.
Okay, Jyoti.
Jyoti Ramana Y. JYOTHIRAMANAY. NAY. Y.
R-A-M-A?
NANAY.
Oh, M-A-M-A.
Yeah, no. M. Ramana.
N-A, okay.
Y also. Letter Y. @gmail.com.
Is that the right one? JYOTHI?
Or
Yes.
it's Joe111. Joe111. You can.
That is my GitHub. Joe111 is my GitHub ID.
I need GitHub ID.
Okay, then JYO111.
JYO.
Yes.
JYO.
Bibo. Yes.
Okay. What about Saujanya?
I just sent my Gmail ID. You want the GitHub ID?
GitHub ID.
GitHub ID, right?
Yeah.
Sauji Kakarla. SOWJI KKRLA. Sauji Kakarla.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Romana has accepted, looks like, right, Romana?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Okay, everybody else, when you guys have access, accept the pending request, what is come to your email ID. Romana, so you're able to see this repository?
DevOps, yes. Initial commit, yes.
Yeah, so DevOps, initial commit. Okay, good. So we have this repository over here. What we will do is, before we get into the VM and Groovy console and Linux commands, what I want to do is, I want to check with you, have you all installed Git on your local machine? Jyoti, have you installed Git on your local?
Yes, I have installed.
Okay, what about Mansa?
I installed too.
Okay, and Saujanya also, right? Okay, what about Romana? Romana, have you installed Git?
Just Git, Samir?
Yeah, so not GitHub. Go over here.
No, I have not done that. I haven't done that.
Yeah, while we are talking, right? Just go, you know what, let me send
Git SCM downloads.
WhatsApp
Okay.
group.
Or
So,
you can just ping here in the chat so that it's available for everyone. Okay.
yeah, I'll put it on WhatsApp. That way everybody
Okay.
has access there. And just click on download for Windows and install it.
Mhm.
Okay. Once, while you're installing, or while it's downloading, take a look at what I'm trying to do over here. Okay. So I will go to a location on my machine. Let's select some location over here. Let's say E drive, and I'll create a folder called DevOps training. And everything that we do, I will eventually put over here. So let's create a folder called Sandbox. Usually what I try to do is all of my repositories, either it's GitHub, Bitbucket, whatever, right? I create a folder called Sandbox and I do everything inside that. If I'm doing some kind of a research, I'll create a folder called research and I'll put it over here. You can either follow this format or whatever format you like, you can follow, but it becomes easier for me from a mind mapping perspective. Where is my code located? Where is the research item located? I don't have to go hunt around. So I like to keep things simple over here. So inside Sandbox, I will go in and right click over here, open up Git Bash. And I want to clone this repository, not this repository. For people who are a little new, right? Let's quickly touch base, maybe just 5 minutes. What exactly? Okay, over here, who has used any other source control or source code repository other than GitHub? Bitbucket, GitHub, GitLab, all are Git. Other than Git, have you ever used anything else like SVN, CVS? TFS, I know Romana has used.
No.
Okay, so let me quickly give you a quick refresher as to what is a major difference between Git and all the other source code repositories. I mean, maybe you know, but it's always good to know what it is. So in the other source code repositories, what you used to do is you used to have this common place, let's call it as TFS.
Sorry.
Yeah, can you hear me? Okay, or SVN or whatever, okay? You'll have a common server that will have a IP address and a port to access that server, right? So a developer sitting over here would actually check out the code. There was this concept of checkout. And then he would make changes. And most of the time he would lock the code that he's making a change to so that nobody else is able to commit. Let's not get into the details of that because anyway, we are not going to use SVN or TFS, but just giving you. So he would check out, he'll make changes to his local file and then do a check-in. Okay, with Git, it's very important for you to know. I mean, the reason I'm getting even in here is I know many people do not know this. Git is a distributed SCM. Okay, what do you really mean by distributed is when there's a developer sitting over here And when the developer clones a repository, so let's assume there's a repository over here. Okay. When he clones the repository and the repository is over here on his machine, technically, what it means is, let's assume the internet is lost. Okay. What it means is, without internet, this guy can still go make changes over here as if he's using the remote repository. That is the beauty of it, and that's what we will look at. So what he can really do is he can do add, he can do commit. The only time that he really wants to work with the remote is when he wants to do a push. Okay, I know for people who are hearing this for the first time, you're going to go think what is git add, what is git commit, what is git push. All of that will get cleared when we start talking about Git, or rather than getting into a training mode of Git, the whole reason that I'm trying to do here, creating a repository, is so that you can start playing with it. There's no better way to learn than to do it. Okay, so has everybody accepted the request? All of you? I think Jyoti is pending and Saujanya is pending. Mansa has accepted, Rumana has accepted. So please go ahead, accept it if you can right now, if you're in front of the system. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to show you how to basically commit your first change. Okay. So what I want you to do is just copy this. So you'll come to code and you'll say copy from here. Okay. I can wait over here, Saujanya and Jyoti, if you want to go ahead and accept it and then come to a common page where we are. Let me know when you're there. You guys are able to hear me, right?
Yes, Samir.
Okay.
Samir, do we also need to create that folder structure that you just created?
No, you don't need to. You can do it the way you want. I usually like to, if you want to do it this way, you can do it, because that way you'll be able to map, DevOps training and then sandbox, and inside sandbox, I'm going to clone. Okay. So right click, open up. Did you already install Git, Romana?
Yes, done that.
Okay. So right click, open up Git bash, which is this. And then the first command that you're going to write is git clone. Git space clone space. And then you're going to paste whatever you copied and press enter. Authentication failed for okay. Invalid username. I never gave any username. Give me 1 second. It never asked me for a username. Let me know if you are able to. Username, Samir Sheikh, user email. Okay. For you, Rumana, it might ask you for a username and then for a password. Let me know if it did it. If
What was
not,
the first command you wrote?
git
Samir?
clone. Git clone.
Git clone, and you have to give that path, right? That I
This-
copied from
This path,
repository.
what you copied from here.
Okay.
Okay, Jyoti and Mansa and Saujanya, are you guys doing this along with us?
Yes.
Okay,
I'm installing Samir, just few minutes.
sure.
Just says cloning into DevOps ... and then waiting.
Something will pop up. Look down here. There will be a username that it'll ask for.
Sorry. So I'll have to configure my username and email ID. Is there a command for that?
What is it saying? What error?
Not yet, not yet. I'm still waiting.
You're waiting. What I'm saying is on the taskbar, a pop-up should have opened over here. Just click on that pop-up to enter your username and password.
Nothing, Samir. So so I copied the git clone repository name. It says cloning into DevOps, and that's where I'm.
It shouldn't take so long, but anyway, hold on.
Yeah. User cancel dialog.
What is it asking for?
I don't know. It says user cancel dialog.
Yeah, it'll ask you for the username. So just enter your username, whatever is your username.
Let me try again. I don't know.
Yeah, technically it should not fail me on this.
And
There it
what
is.
would be my username? Username that I'm using in GitHub?
Of course.
Samir, can you text the command in chat window, please?
Yep. Whatever
I
you are.
got prompted inside the command prompt, but I got something like this. So I'll have to sign in, is it?
Yeah. Okay, so I was able to clone. If you guys looked at what I did, it should be something similar. Looks like GitHub has changed the authentication model a bit, but that's fine. We were finally able to get in. Let me know if you are stuck. We can share screen and we can see what's happening. So basically, after you've cloned, you should see the same folder on your sandbox folder like this.
Yeah, I'm in Samir.
You're able to do it, Romana?
Yeah, done.
Okay. What about Mansa, Jyoti, Saujanya?
Samir, I'm stuck. Actually, what's the URL?
URL is what you have to copy over here, right? From here.
Oh, from the code. Okay.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing is the last one I saw. Okay. Saujanya, you have not accepted the request. Till the time you accept the request, right? You will not be able to come to my repository. So you'll have to come to my repository. So there would be an email in your email ID, email box. You have to accept that. Jyoti, you already got to my repository, right?
Yes, Samir.
Okay. Saujanya, do you need some help? Did you get an email saying I have given you access to a repository?
I'm checking email.
Okay.
One sec.
Okay. Sure. No rush. Take your time because this is pretty critical. This is one of the starting pieces that you need to know. I'll just be back in a second. Okay, I'll put my phone for charging. Okay, I'm back. Saujanya, I'm waiting on you. Okay, well, let me know when you're ready.
So what we did is just like a checkout.
Yeah, it
Okay.
is. It should be there in your Gmail mailbox, Saujanya.
Actually, I forgot my password.
Oh,
GitHub password. I'm resetting. I'm sorry.
oh, no problem. Okay, while Saujanya is doing that, let's quickly talk about some basic things here. So what we are doing, first command that we are doing is we have a repository up over here. Get rid of this guy. So we have this repository up here. the name of the repository is DevOps for sure. What you did is you did a git clone to clone the repository, which is here, down onto your machine. Okay, so you got an exact copy, exact clone basically onto your machine. Right? That's where we are. Now, what we want to do, the whole intent is this, okay? Let's look at a small story. The story is there are 5 people that are working. All 5 of us, okay? And each one of us is working on a similar file. So I'll call it ABCD instead of calling out a name. So A is working on a file, B is working on a file, C is working on a file, D is working on a file, and E is working on a file. Okay, all 5 of them. Now, let's assume that the name of the file is apple.txt. So this guy is apple.txt. Similarly, all the others are apple.txt files. Okay. Now, the biggest problem is it's not just one file in real world, right? You're working on a program and you have multiple files that you're working on. It is very much possible that this guy might make a change to a file that even this one is making and even this one is making. Now, in the olden days, what used to happen is there used to be one person over here sitting and collecting all the files from all of them and using a tool and trying to find out what are the common changes and merging them together, and then taking a backup copy on a CD and storing it into a location. That was days work. Okay, the next day when they will come, and this is the time actually even I saw this time. This is not like very, very old, maybe about 10, 12 years back. People used to do it this way. Okay, so very soon people realized that this is a problem. You cannot be working this way. This is not a good model. So let's get rid of this guy. What we want to do is let's get rid of all of these guys making a change over here. Let's introduce a common server on which they all work. All of them will work from here. Okay, and that is where the world of TFS and SVN came into picture. Instead of calling it as TFS or SVN, I'll call it as centralized SCM. So what I mean, the name itself indicates to you, right? What is centralized? Everybody is working from a central location. Now, still they saw there could be a problem, right? There could be one file that this guy is trying to make a change and this guy is also trying to make a change at the exact same time, and they corrupt the file. To avoid that kind of a situation, they came in a concept of locks and unlocks. Okay, so what this guy will do is before he could start making a change, he will go ahead and lock a file. As soon as he locks a file, nobody else will be able to take a lock onto. They can definitely bring it down to read the file, but they cannot lock the file. That means they will not be the first person to make a commit. Whoever has locked the file will be able to commit to that file. And as soon as he would commit the file, he will go ahead and unlock it. I remember this time also when people will lock things and then they would forget to unlock it. And we had to go search for them based on the name, right? It'll show that C has locked it. So I will go to C and tell it, hey, buddy, you've locked a file. I want to acquire a lock onto that file. Please unlock it. And he would unlock it. So this is the world of centralized SCM. I will wait over here and I'll give you an opportunity to ask me any questions regarding to centralized SCM. I think you shouldn't have, because you guys should have worked on this someday or the other. Any questions on centralized SCM? No? Are you being lost with whatever I'm saying, or are you following what I'm trying to say?
Following.
Okay, good. So now the father of Linux Torvald, whatever his name is, he came up with this concept. He said, you know what, there's a problem with this. There's an inherent problem with this. We cannot go with this. We want to go with a concept called distributed SCM. This was not the first time that distributed SCM is coming in. There was already a product that those guys were using and they changed the licensing model. So the developer or the creator of Linux, he said, okay, you have changed the licensing. Let me go ahead and create a source control manager myself. So he went ahead and he wrote Git. So he's the guy who wrote up Git. So with Git, what he's trying to do is he's trying to say, no, you never have a central point of failure. Imagine if this server dies for whatever reason, all of these people suffer. All of these people suffer, right? Because he has his own version of what was here. There might be other repositories which these guys had never brought in. The whole world goes for a toss. So instead of that, he said, when you have a distributed system, I should be able to clone like what you did right now, right? You cloned from here to here. Rumana did it, I did it, maybe Jyoti and Mansa also did it. We're waiting for Saujanya to complete it, right? You clone it. Now, the beauty of a distributed system is Saujanya can say, I have the repository. Anji, you clone from me. Anji will sit over here and say, let's say he'll come to me and say, Samir, you can clone from me. So this is Samir over here. So for me, for Samir, the origin, we never call it remote. In the world of distributed SCM, we never call it as remote. In this world, we call it as remote because this is local over here. All of them are local, and this is the remote for them. But in this world, in a world of distributed SCM, we call it as origin. If you ever thought why we call it as origin, the answer I'm giving you is here. The reason is for Samir, origin is Anji. For Anji, origin is Saujanya, right? For Saujanya, origin is the actual GitHub. You guys following up until here? So technically, Anji could make changes and he could actually push to Saujanya. Saujanya can sit over here, review what Anji has done, and if she feels happy about it, she can go ahead and push it to GitHub. So there are several GitHub flows or a Git flows basically. Okay, there are several flows in which teams work. This is one of the flow where the lead in the team do not allow everybody to commit to GitHub. What he says is, you guys can take from me. Treat me as your origin, all the developers that are reporting to me, and submit or push your code into my repository. I will review it. I will make sure everything looks good, and only I will push it up to GitHub. Okay, there will be several more flows that we will see. FIS is using a trunk-based flow. In Zenmonix, we were using a Git flow-based flow. So there are several flows that we can talk about, but I don't want to, the way I want to do it is I want to talk about it when we come to a particular project that we're working on. Okay, until then I would not talk about it. Yeah, go ahead, Romana.
So we still have the same problem that we have with centralized SCM, right? What if the server is down, there's an outage, all the changes are lost. So if Saujanya is the origin or the lead who is distributing to all of her teammates, and what if her server goes down? We still have that issue, right?
You don't, right? You don't. The reason is in a centralized system, there was a repository and there were several branches in this repository. The people sitting over here were just checking out the branch. If you remember the world of TFS, you are checking out the branch. You were not checking out everything with all the branches in the world. You were not doing that. Right? But with over here, and thank you for asking that question, because that gives me a space to answer that, right? In here, what you're doing when Saujanya is cloning it, she's cloning, she's not checking out. What it means is if there are 100 branches over here, Saujanya practically could get all the 100 branches over here. And then she can jump across on the branches and then work on whichever branch you want, as if she's working in remote while working in the local itself. So even if this guy blows up, she can take her copy and she can push up and create a new repository. If Saujanya blows up over here, and in one of the developers had recently cloned, that guy could give this code to Saujanya and say, here it is, here's your remote now. go ahead and commit. I mean, don't think too much about it, because this is what you have to do and understand. What I just want you to understand is from distributed and a centralized perspective. In centralized, there was one single place where everybody used to work. In a distributed system, you don't even have to worry there's a remote. You could technically snap out this location, keep working in your repository for one long year. After one long year, you can push it to the remote. So imagine a condition like Ukraine, right? Ukraine is under attack. The internet is all down. In a world of centralized, if the internet is down, these guys have lost all the connection. They cannot work with each other. But in this world, these guys can start collaborating with each other if they're sitting in the same space. They can do all their work that they need to do until the internet comes back. And as soon as the internet comes back, they can push the changes up here. You might say, again, you have to remember, in the world of centralized, you have checked out a branch. In the world of Git, you have checked out the whole repository. That's why it is called cloned, not checkout. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Sojourner, did you have enough time to get your password reset or no?
I did, Samir.
Okay. Did you get access?
Yes. Yes.
I had a question with Git.
Okay.
With the Git, in the real time, the developers, will they clone and maintain the repository in the local system, or will they use any servers?
Will they use what, Sojourner?
Yeah, this is Mansa. Will they use server, or will they directly clone into the local system?
Everybody clones. There's no other way. There's no command called checkout. Everybody has to clone.
They will clone and maintain the repositories in the local system?
They will clone, and that's what we are going to see. So I will say, just park your question for a second. We are going to see now. Okay. Have you everybody has cloned today? Jyoti, Mansa, Rumana, Sojourner, everybody has cloned.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay, good. If you've cloned, you'll have a folder like this. Okay. What I want to do is, since we are not going to be working in Java very, very soon, I want you to go ahead and install one more thing, if you can. I'll put this in chat, WhatsApp, because then it becomes easier for me to track that. Go ahead and install Visual Studio Code if you haven't installed it. Does everybody have Visual Studio Code? I know Rumana doesn't have, but everybody else other than Rumana?
Yes. Yes, I have.
Okay. So what I want you to do is, and Rumana, please go ahead and install it. As soon as you install it, while you're in the repository, right, go do a CD and DevOps over here. Give me 1 second, okay? Everybody in there? Are you able to see README? If there's any command that I'm using and you do not understand, please let me know, okay? If ls-lrt, you're not aware about it, please ask me so that I can explain it to you while I'm using the command. ls-lrt is a dir command in Windows. So if I want to list the directory, right, in Windows command prompt, I would say dir. And similarly, here we have ls. And with ls-lrt, I get some more details, which is showing over here apart from just the file, right? Okay, now while you're here, what I want to do is, the first command, has everybody saved in, okay, let's do that only. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do code dot. So say code dot. So when you say code dot and press enter, it opens up that folder into Visual Studio Code for you. Trust. Everybody here with me?
Visual Studio, should I install now or can I do it later?
Who is that? Rumana? I'm sorry.
Saujanya.
Yeah, Saujanya, go ahead, install it. It
Okay.
shouldn't take much time. Just quickly install
Okay.
it.
Okay.
Can you show me the command? Is it code space dot? Is it code space and then dot, or just
Yeah.
code dot?
Code space dot.
Well, I'm done with the installation, but the command is not working.
When you say here VS Code, does it show VS Code over here?
Yeah. Let me see. But I am done with installation. Yes, I can see that.
Then when you went in here, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Did you do it something like this, code dot?
Yes, I'm inside the DevOps folder, right?
Uh-huh.
I did code space dot and it says command not found. Bash.
No. Do one thing. Maybe your bash was already opened. Close the bash or open a brand new bash.
Okay.
This is world of Windows, right? Windows does not update its environment variable automatically.
Right.
Everybody else got it? Jyoti and Mansa, do you get it?
Yes.
Yes, I got it.
Yes.
Okay. I'll create a file. Well, you know what? Just go ahead and update the README file. Let's call it as first software to install. So what all softwares did you guys install? Java, JDK 11, JDK 17. What did you install more? You installed Groovy. You installed Git. And now you've installed Visual Studio Code, right? VS Code. I'm just trying to make notes. So let's say we all are collaborating, right? I mean, I'm the lead for you. I'm collaborating, I'm making this change. Right now, if you open up your file, you only see DevOps, right? Jyoti and everybody else.
Yes.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and commit this change so that you are able to take it from me, okay, what work I have done. So please pay attention over here. Saujanya, if your installation is done or if it's going on, I would want you to come back.
Okay. Yeah.
Is your installation going on?
Yeah, going on.
Okay, so what I'm doing now is one command you've already looked at, right? And I will put up over here also git commands. The first command that you've seen is git clone repository URL.
Yeah.
Right. The second command, a very important command which you'll use a lot, is git status. Git status check is used to check what is the state of the current repository locally. Okay, so I'm going to say git status, and it says over here, you don't have to read through everything. Later on when you're practicing, you can do that. But if you see here, it says modified, right? I will come to the different states of the file, but let's go a step at a time. It says modified. So what I'm going to do is, yes, I know it is modified. I want to see what is the difference in there. So I'm going to say git diff. So let me write that command over here. When I add anything inside square bracket, that means it's optional, okay? You see that? It is showing me with plus over here. So that DevOps, what is there? It is saying I've deleted it and I've added the whole thing again. That's what it's trying to say. Because I went up and I pressed enter. So that line has changed, right? That's why it is doing that. So don't worry about it. So this is to come out of here. I can press colon and Q. It'll come out. Okay. I will run the same command again, git diff. And what was the name of the file? README. And you can type RE or R. If there's only R file with R, only one file, type R and press tab on your keyboard. That'll auto-complete for you. Press enter, and it shows me only for that file. See that? Okay.
This didn't work in console. Submit tab.
Are you trying in console or are you trying in VS Code?
I was actually trying to see this is possible through console as well, but yeah.
Console
In-
also
in-
should not be any different here.
Mhm. I don't know.
Yeah, that's an assignment for you. Figure out why it's not working. Exit to exit, press Q or colon Q. Whatever you want to do it, you can do it. Okay, everybody with me so far?
So the difference that this command brings is the difference in my clone, right? All the differences from my clone.
Yeah, so in
Not-
your clone, it will not show you anything. There's no difference at all because you've not made any change.
Yeah, actually I made the change parallelly in VS Code and I can see the difference that I made.
Yeah, that is right. But then I would suggest you don't make any change because I will have to go in and show you about rebasing and all, which is a bigger issue to advanced command to show you. So don't make any changes. What I would suggest you is run one command called git checkout -- dot. I wanted to avoid showing you this command git checkout -- dot basically will bring everything from remote and flush out everything that you've done locally. So please run git checkout -- dot. That way, all the change that you've done will be lost locally.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't commit and submit, but I was just trying to keep up with you in learning commands.
No. That's fine. There's no problem, Romana.
Yeah.
But what I'm trying to say is now I'll be committing this. So I've not even got to commit and push yet, right? There's one pattern that I want to show you. So it's okay. What you did is not wrong. It's fine.
Yeah, I did that, and then I ran that command git diff, and I see nothing. There's
Okay.
nothing.
Used to flush out all the local changes done to tracked file and sync up with remote. All right. Now I will do git status again to see what's the change. This change is this file. I want to, okay, let me come back here. This is your repository. Okay. Your repository has multiple sections. You have work area. You have staging area. You have commit area. Okay. And then you have your remote over here. So your work area is my work area right now. When I'm working on it, I've made a change to the file. That is where I'm working on that file, right? That's my work area. It is currently in the work area. If I want to transition the file of files from work area to staging area, I will have to run a command called git add and then the name of the file. I will write the command over here. All of you, right? Don't run any of the command that I'm showing over here because that is going to be the assignment. The whole reason I'm capturing the commands over here is because that's going to come to you as an assignment. Okay. Git add name of the file, or you can say dot. Okay, dot means everything that has changed. Okay, or there's a command called -a, and we will talk about all the three eventually. But for now, you just have to remember you have to do git add file, whatever file has changed. Now, if I run the command git status, please keep an eye on the color of the file. Okay, you see what it says? It was modified, but now it is green. That means it has come into the staging area. It is sitting over here. There's one file that is sitting over here. The name of the file is readme.md. Correct? Are you guys with me so far? This is pretty fundamental of Git. If you do not know this, you actually do not know Git. So Jyoti, you were aware about this?
Yes, I know that.
Okay,
Samir.
good. So now what we will do is I will add one more file over here. Okay, let's add a file called rumana.txt. So that's the file for Rumana. I will add another file called SOWJNY. Saujanya, that's right.
Correct.
Okay, so I will add just two, and I'll say git status. So now do you see what it is showing? It is showing me a file in green. It is saying this is staged, and there are these two files, and keep an eye on this. Last time when I had read that red color file over here, it was saying tracked. It's a tracked file. Where is it? Change is not staged for commit. Modified. Tracked file. Where is tracked file? So tracked file, an untracked file, right? I will talk about that also. Let me clear this. Git status. Notice here what it says. It says untracked files. Okay, before I explain this, I'm going to ask you, Jyoti, tell me the difference between a tracked file and an untracked file. What is a tracked file and what is an untracked file?
Tracked file means changes made to that file.
Okay, but
And
I have, let's say if I
that
add
is
something
still
over
in the
here.
working area.
So if I add over here, let's say Rumana inside the file. So I made a change to the file. Does that become a tracked file now? Is Rumana a tracked file? And now if I add over here Saujanya, is Saujanya a tracked file?
Any file which is not in the staging area can be considered as a.
No, that's not the right answer. Mansa, do you want to take a, and again, please do not feel bad that I'm asking you to tell me the questions. I ask questions, okay? Don't feel offended. There are several questions that I will not have an answer to. The whole reason that I love to ask or put you on the spot is you should get into the curiosity of, oh yeah, I didn't know this, I want to know about it. Okay, so please don't get into a mode wherein you think, oh, he's putting me on the spot, because we all are learning over here, right? I mean, nobody is above somebody else. Everybody is a student right now. So I hope you're okay with that I'm putting you on the spot and asking questions. Jyoti, Mansa, are you guys okay with that?
Yes, Samir.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so Mansa, do you want to take a guess on?
Yeah, I think if the file is in the working area, that is untracked file, and if it is added to the staging area, it will be tracked file.
Okay, then I think I have to teach you what it is now.
Can I take a guess?
Yeah, please take a guess.
What I think is, I could be wrong. A README was there as part of the original clone, right? That is an existing file. But whereas Rumana and Saujanya.txt file, these are the new ones which are not part of the original clone. So that's why maybe they have been flagged as untracked.
That's right. That's right. And I will give a formal definition to it. Any file that exists in remote. Okay. That file by definition is tracked file. Tracked. It is being tracked by the origin. Okay. If you want to make it simple and want to go with the world of centralized, and you want to call this as remote, then anything that is hosted in remote and being managed in remote is a tracked file. Okay. I'm going to write down over here so that now you guys should be able to tell me all of this, all the answers. They cannot be untracked, unmodified file, because if there is no, the file has to be at least added and then modified, right? So track file is what is managed in the remote. Files that are being managed in the remote okay. File that is not being managed is untracked file. Okay. What is tracked modified file? A file that came from remote. Come on. Files that are being managed in the origin, but has been modified in the local workspace. Make sense?
Clear now.
Good.
Thank you.
Files that are being managed in the origin, but has not been. Files that are not being managed in the origin, has been staged and then modified in the work area. Very interesting topic here, right? This one. So I'm not going to go into each and every detail of it. I think this much, it should be enough for you to explore more. So I'm going to show you something here. Okay. So let me clear it. Please pay a very keen attention to what I'm doing here now. I'm writing git status. It is showing me readme.md in green, readme.md in red. Both of these are tracked file, right? So there is a tracked staged and tracked modified and staged, tracked modified. So I'm not going to say it unstaged because we are not staged. So it's a tracked modified file, correct? And then this is untracked files that have not been staged. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a git add dot this time. Okay. So what I'm expecting is with the dot is whatever there is in the work area, everything. So all three of them should get added to the staging area. That is the expectation. Let's see. Worked. So all three of them have gone into staging now, right? One of them is tracked. The other two are untracked. So after staging, what I will do is I will go and make a change over here to Rumana's file. I'm just going to save it and do a git status. You see what is saying? Changes not staged for commit. Now it doesn't say untracked or whatever. It is modified. It's an untracked file, staged, and has a modification. So I will do a git add dot to add it. Now if I say git status, I want you to play with these commands, okay? Whatever I'm showing you as part of your assignment, which are over here. Now what I want to do is I have added all the files that I really wanted, and I'm very happy with it. I've put everything in the staging. It's like what you do at home, right? You have two dustbins. One is for trash and the other one is for biodegradable. You keep adding things into the dustbin, correct? And you make sure that it is well segregated. But before you actually take that and put it into the final trash, sometimes you have a habit to open up that box and look whether somebody by mistake has put a degradable one into a trash one, if you're really concerned about environment, right? I mean, I don't know if all of you do it or not, but let's assume that you do it. So it's something similar, right? I'm putting everything into the staging area. And now what I want to do is I want to take that as one single commit and commit it into the commit area over here. So the trash has already been put into the staging area. I'm going to say, I love all these 3 files and I want all the 3 files to come in as one single commit. Remember, a very important thing to remember for you is we are talking about a commit. We are not talking about one file. In the world of centralized SCM, we were talking about one file being committed at a time. We never used to, yes, you could commit many files at the time, but it would never go as one single commit. So what Git does is it takes all these files, generates a commit hash for it. So there's something called as SHA that it generates, or a hash that it generates. That hash is about everything that is contained in that commit or in that basket. And that's what we will do now. And I will show you. I will do a git commit -m. So that means I have to put a message. What is the message? This is the first, or let's call it as initial commit. Okay. I'm going to press enter. Now, if I do a git status, you'll not see anything. You see, it doesn't show any of those files, but it says something. Your branch is ahead of origin main by 1 commit. That means origin doesn't, you got something from origin, and on top of that, you have added 1 commit, which you have not pushed at to origin. So it is saying use git push to publish your local commits. I'm going to hold on over here. It was very important for me to complete this git stuff. We can spend some more time, actually, if you guys have some more time, to just wrap up the whole thing. But I'm going to stop here and I'm going to ask you, did you understand git add, git commit? And now if I do a git log, before I do that, let me add over here. So we did git add, git commit -m, commit message. Wherever I put angle bracket, that means it is something that needs to change. Okay, wherever I'm using square bracket, that is optional. And the final one that I will do is git push. Git push is basically, right now, can you try to do git pull, all of you? You'll not get anything. There's no change in remote is what you're going to see. Can you try it, please? Git pull.
Yes, we are not going to pull anything from the remote repository. Already up to date.
Okay. So I'm going to do a git push now. Let's see if it gives me some kind of error. So it is gone. Before you do git pull, I'm going to go take you over here. And I'm going to show you how the code looks like in the remote now. So you see all this, Ramana.txt, Saujanya.txt, and readme.md, got all this. So now all of you try to do a git pull. And tell me if you are able to see what I'm seeing here.
Yes, Samir.
Yes.
So
You will not see git push and you will not see git pull probably, because I just added it, right? See, the git commit you'll not see, the git push you'll not see, the git pull you'll not see. All these 3 I have not committed yet.
correct. So we see only until git add.
Yes. So I'm going to do it now with a single command. Okay. So git commit -a for add. Usually we do a add and then commit, right? So in the single command, I'm going to do it. Git commit a, m for message. I'm just going to add updated readme.md.
Samir.
Yeah.
I think before you commit this, you can add this command as well.
Which one?
readme.
Yeah.
A
I'll do
and
that.
A. Yeah.
So, okay, so I'm going to press enter. And now you guys can do a pull and you'll actually see this. Refresh. See this? All right. I think every day we should at least give 5 minutes or 10 minutes to to talk about what we've done so that you get equal opportunity to, discuss what you understood, what you did not understand. So in this session, do you think we've done enough? Jyoti and Mansa especially, have you got at least something out of this session which you didn't know before?
Yes, Samir.
Yes, Samir.
Okay. So now you have this. I'm going to add. So Jyoti and Mansa, go ahead, add your names, your name.txt files in there, and commit either now or later. You can do it, each of you. Okay. We will spend a little time. The reason is I don't want to spend time into theory, too much time into theory, but it was important for me to at least bring you up to speed onto this fundamental thing, so that we can collaborate together. There will be a time when we will get into conflicts and stuff like that. There's one thing I want you to do is, I don't know if, I think Beyond Compare should be free. It's not free, it is like $40 or $50. If you can buy it, great. If you cannot buy it, just use the shareware, the open sourced one. So it is called Scooter Beyond Compare. Okay. There's one more thing that I want to show you before I give you a chance to figure out. For some of you, you are doing this for the first time, right? So I would want you to run a command called git config global list. I want you to run this command. Whatever email you used for GitHub, please use that email over here. And over here, use your name, whatever name you want to give. For example, for me, it is Samir Sheikh. You saw that there's a space in between. The reason I want you to do it is because when you yourself do a commit, right? I can go over here, I can click on commits, and I'll be able to see who has committed. For example, over here, you see it's saying Samir Sheikh. Yeah. So that's me, basically. That is this guy, Samir Sheikh. Okay, that's the commit, basically. It's identifying me. Because for this email address, shsheikh@gmail.com, I have tied it up. The username is Samir Sheikh. For this guy, the username is Samir Sheikh 13. Okay, that's my new one. So please go ahead and add these two things if you do not have it, username and email. All right. Questions? I want to, do you have some more time to talk about Groovy so that you can do something as part of the assignment?
Yes, Samir, please go ahead.
Everybody has installed. See, this is the reason why I wanted to spend like good 2 hours. So Saturday and Friday, maybe 2 hours, 4 hours, instead of distributing 1 hour, because then what will happen is with 1 hour in a day, right, we will do a lot of context switching. So I will partially finish something, and then the next day when we come up, we are probably going to repeat something which we are doing over here. So technically it's a waste of your time. So if we spend straight 2 hours or 2.5 hours, right, you'll be able to take better benefit out of it. And then you'll have like 3-4 days with you to work on assignments and then really put value to this training. I'm completely okay to continue with this 1 hour sessions, but I'm thinking this might not work very well in your favor. So think about it and then let me know, okay? You don't have to make a decision right now. But has everybody, Romana, did you install VS Code? Did it work for you? And Sojourner, did you install VS Code?
Yes, Samir. I
installed.
Okay, perfect. Did I add that command? There's a command called miscellaneous is not right spelling.
Yes, Samir, I created mansa.txt and committed.
You did commit? You committed?
Yes.
Okay, so now this is a very interesting part for us, right? Now what has happened is I have made a change to a file and you have added 2 files. So when I do a git status, git pull is when I want to bring changes from remote. Let's see what happens. It says, have you pushed it? You've not pushed it yet.
Oh, just I committed. Oh, sorry. I will push.
Sorry?
Just I committed. I think I have to push to the remote repository.
Yeah. Can you do a git push?
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I think it's done.
Okay, so I got Mansa.
Yes, I did that.
Okay, so Jyoti has not done yet, right?
Yeah, doing some.
Okay, do a git pull, Jyoti, before you do a push. Okay, otherwise you're going to get into trouble. I will show you once you guys installed Beyond Compare, right? I will show you how to configure, and so that you are able to do git merge and git diff in a very good way. You don't have to follow the CLI way. Okay, let's leave Git for now over here. Let's move a little bit to Groovy. I want you to, when you type Groovy console, do you GROOVY? Didn't I install Groovy over here? Maybe I've not installed. Let me install it. I thought I did. Give me 1 second. I have not installed Groovy, so let me do it. Has everybody installed Groovy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Samir. 3.9 is
4.0.
4.0. I think when you try to install it, it's not letting us.
It's not letting you install.
Yeah, there was some issue which I don't recall, but yeah, 3.9 was the.
Let me try this, and then I'll also try 3.9. I usually don't install through MSI. I install it through the binary. Let me see. Okay, I have 1.8, which is pretty old. Were you able to get this far?
No, I'm done with 3.9. Maybe I'll read.
Yeah, I think this will not install. The reason for me will be I'm having Java 8. So I would not be surprised if it says I run only on Java 11. That might be the only error, but otherwise I don't expect it to be. Yeah, it completed. So if I go to command prompt now, do Groovy console, I should see the console where I can write Groovy code. Everybody gets this?
Yes.
Okay. See this? Hello world.
Yes.
So basically this means it's working. So what I want you to do is, the assignment for you is Groovy collection, working with collections. Okay, so I'll quickly go through it. So you have lists and you have maps. Okay. If I come to literal, you practically can pick this up from here, def list, and then go to here. Okay, and what you will do is you'll do a println of list. You're printing the list basically, and then run it. So it comes with 5, 6, 7, 8. So it is printing the whole thing. Now you want to iterate over it. How are you going to iterate over it? That's where I want you to spend some time. So iterating over a list. How do you iterate over a list? You have the list, you do each, and then you do $it. Okay. So if I go here, if I do list dot each, and then I do a print ln, and in here I'll say item $it, and let's see if it does anything. See that 5, 6, 7, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically iterated through and printed this item. Very, very simple. Okay. Please don't take it. I mean, if I wanted to really teach you programming language, probably I would have given you a longer route. But I think going through this will help you work with the Jenkins file in the future. Okay. So as much as you can spend time going through each one of them, like filtering and searching, you're trying to find for something, you're trying to find all, you're trying to do an index of, just go. I mean, this is very, very simple over here. Just until maps and list, go through this. Any questions on this assignment? I'm not asking you to submit anything back to me. I'm just asking you to revise by yourself. If you have any questions, we can talk about it in the next session. But adding and removing item, filtering and searching for item, similarly, filtering and searching for maps, grouping of different maps together. How do you do that? Just play around with Groovy console. That is the assignment for you. While you're doing that, if you're able to make notes and then put those notes up into GitHub over here, that will be awesome. So what you could do is, where are we? What you could do is you could create a folder instead of these files, right? Create a folder. I mean, you know what? Let me do that for you guys. Hold on, I will do it. There's one more very important thing that I'm going to show you. Okay, let me delete all of this from here. I'm going to add folders over here. Okay, I'm going to say Rumana. Jyoti. Mansa. Okay, look at this very interesting thing over here. Okay, if I try to do a git status, see whether it shows me those folders. It says that these files have been deleted, but it doesn't say that folder has to be edited or added. Do you know why? Because Git is being intelligent and is thinking, since these are empty folders, you don't really need them. So if you really need them, the usual way to do it, if you don't have a content for it inside, is to do a .git keep. You just create a file called .git keep and paste it over here. And now if I go and do a git status, you'll see that those are untracked files, which are folders technically. Okay, there's one more thing that I want you to do, even as a professional, is go to view, go to options, go to view again, and over here, select show hidden files, folders, and drives, and uncheck hide extensions for known file types. Can you do this? Let me know once you've done this. The reason is, if you don't do this, you're going to create a file which will not show you the extension. This .txt file, you'll not see it. And now what you will do is you'll go and put a .git keep. So technically it is not .git keep file, it's a .git keep.txt file in your case. So that's why I always like to see the extension so that I can sit and I can delete it myself like this. Now it becomes a .git keep file. So I will go ahead and add this. I already have this. Okay, so what I want you to do is you have your own folders. You can create a folder inside it and give it a name like 02272022 MMDDYYYY format. And then whatever assignments that you're doing for the day, whatever you've learned, if you want to put up notes or whatever, just feel free to add notes and then commit those changes. So that way, you know, you'll without me teaching you Git, you'll learn by yourself while you're doing these exercises. And that way, everybody else can collaborate and see what Saujanya has done. You know, if you want to tell what Mansa, how to do it. For example, you created a document for Oracle account. You could have done it and put it over here and said, hey, I've put it over here in this folder. Can you take it from there? Mansa can take it from there. So basically start collaborating this way. Okay.
After adding the content to the folder, do we still need to keep that git keep file?
Yes, yes, you have to. You have to. The git keep, after you add content, you don't have to, but even if you keep it, that's fine, because anything that starts with dot is technically a hidden file. But since I'm saying, since I've enabled this configuration over here, right? I showed you just now.
Unknown extension file. Yeah.
So that file technically should not even show up. Where is refresh? I don't know why it is showing, but technically that file should not show up. It should be a hidden file. Okay. All right. Any questions for me?
I had a question back then, but so when you said Jyoti to do a pull before committing a change, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mansa did some change. Mansa added a mansa.txt file, and then Jyoti also did. And
Jyoti
Mansa
didn't push anything yet. I didn't see Jyoti's changes come in. Jyoti, did you push any files?
Yes, jyoti.txt. I have created a file named jyoti.txt and then I push it.
Okay, let me see whether you really pushed it. So I can go to commits over here. It will technically show me. See, I don't see your files changes at all, Jyoti. Mansa's change I see over here. But you have not pushed. Maybe you committed it, but you never pushed it. That's what Mansa had done.
I execute the command git push and everything is up to date. I got that output.
Should not be, because jyoti.txt file was never there. I never created jyoti.txt file. So if you see here, right? And if it is basically I have added this over here and that's it. Mansa file, I have changed this M capital, I have put it over there. That's the only change that I've done. So I don't see your commit being pushed at all, Jyoti.
I will do it again.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you did not do a git add, you did not do a git commit, and you tried to do a git push, so it said everything is perfect. So before you do a git commit, you have to bring it into the staging area, or you have to use git commit -am, as I talked. But technically, the answer for you, Rumana, is I can look at the commits over here, and I can go back in history to see what has happened. For example, if I want to see what Mansa has done, I can go click over here, and it should show me that one changed file with 0 addition and 0 deletion, that is mansa.txt. That's the change you did, right, Mansa? You added a file called mansa.txt without any content.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, this is what I was talking about, the commit hash. It even for one file, it generated a commit hash. If there were 3 files or 10 files, it would have generated a commit hash, which will tell if you create a commit hash for those 10 files, this will be the commit hash. Technically, that's what it means. So Jyoti, you have not pushed your files, and you don't need to push the file technically because I have created folders now for you.
Samit, my question was, so when you asked Jyoti before committing or pushing, you asked Jyoti to do a pull so that she gets Mansa's change. So question is, when she would do a pull, will her changes that she has locally, that won't get overwritten?
It will not get overwritten if it's a brand new file. If she has already made a change to a file which is already tracked, okay, it will show her that there is a merge conflict. It will try to do a forward auto merge, but if she made a change to exact same line number which Mansa has already changed, it will say cannot auto merge. There's a merge conflict. Please resolve it.
Okay.
And that is where last time I told you, right? Hold on, because if we get into a merge conflict, I will have to show you some advanced commands, and I don't want to show you that right now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Right. So merge is a very special condition which everybody should know how to fix it, but it's a little advanced. So I don't want to overwhelm you with a lot of commands. The only commands that I want you guys to really practice is this, and then go to Groovy and learn a little bit of Groovy list and Groovy map by going through the link that I've given you earlier. That is the only expectation what I have from you today. Okay. Or anybody else? Any question?
Samit, what is the A option in Git commit? Maybe I missed it.
Is this Romana again?
No, Mansa.
Okay, I'm so sorry. I'm so bad at. So
Yeah.
minus A, I didn't show you, but
Not
minus.
Not that, Samit. In the Git commit -m generally will be used, right?
Oh, so this is one single command to add, to commit, and to push. So A is to add. Okay. Usually what we do is we do a add, we do a commit, and then we do a push, right?
Yes.
This is a single command wherein in the commit command itself, you can tell it add.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. And it does a add dot basically. Okay. So it's not one file. If you have made changes to 10 files, and if you run this command, it will add all the 10 files from the folder where you are everywhere across. That's what it is. Yeah, I mean, there are some complexity which I have not talked about, and I really don't want to bring it right now. Is I want to touch base them as and when you are working, because even if I show you now, it will only confuse you, not do any benefit. Okay.
Samit, one question.
Sure.
In my office, my senior asked me to check 2 nodes, node number 7 and 8, whether they are working for 2 projects perfectly or not. Mm-hmm. So I tested these 2 nodes on Connect client, monolith, and then some of the Connect microservices, Glass gateway, Glass microservices. Mm-hmm. They are working fine, these 2 nodes, 7 and 8. Later, he asked me to check release builds, whether these nodes running perfectly for the release builds. But in the replay, I have changed the node number to 07 to test that node. Mm-hmm. But after execution, after trigger that release build, that is show in the replay, in that code, Jenkins file code, that is showing something else, previous node. Could you please help me?
Sure. So when you're saying node, just for the benefit of everybody else, right? You're talking about, you have a Jenkins master and then you have Jenkins slaves. You're talking about slaves, right?
Yes.
So you talked about how, tell me the names of the nodes that you're talking about.
07.
So 07.
08.
Okay.
These 2 nodes I need to check.
Yeah. So the way we have done, right? Who asked you? Is it Pratap or somebody else or Satish?
Satish asked me.
Okay. So what we've done is we have created grouping by adding labels. Okay. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, if I'm not wrong. They might have added more. I don't know. And each of them, right, we have grouped them together. I think it is called D1 Connect or Connect. I don't remember the label. So each one of them, we have added label, Connect, Glass, and DevOps. Okay.
Okay.
In your Jenkins file, you would see that the place where you specify the agent, right? It would have specified either D1 Connect or Connect or something like that. If it is specifying that label, it means it can pick up any of these nodes from within that grouping. Okay. I am coming to where you are. Okay. So don't think that I'm missing something that you said. So now what you did is in your Jenkins file, you explicitly added, instead of using the label, you directly added the name of the node, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And when you do a replay, you have to remember replay doesn't always let you change the agent. So okay, before we get there, right, let me ask you this: why is he asking you to do that? Why? What is the intent?
Earlier, these nodes are not working properly.
Uh-huh.
So nowadays, I think they may change in the code. So he asked me whether they are working properly or not.
Yeah, I mean, there would not be a release or snapshot or anything like that, right? As soon as you update your Jenkins file to point to, I mean, the best way to really look at this is when you go to your Jenkins master on the left-hand side, right? They will show you all the nodes that are available. The name of the nodes that are available. So if you see that 107 is available, you go update your Jenkins file to point to this node 07 and then rerun, don't replay, rerun the build. And if when the build is running, it will show you on which agent it is running on. If it goes and runs on this specific agent 07, that means 07 is available and it is able to run on it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Jyoti?
I didn't catch you. Could you please repeat?
Okay. Can you, please don't share. I mean, the thing is, I don't want to look at what is FIS is, but open up your Jenkins file. In your Jenkins file, you should have a configuration. You will have a configuration like this. Agent Docker, something.
Yes.
And what is immediately under Docker? What do you see?
Remember the image name?
What is that?
I do not remember the image name, but
No. Are you able to open up your laptop and take a look at it?
it takes time.
Oh. So you should look at it. I think there should be something called label or name or something like that.
Yes, label is there.
Yeah. So that label will be something like Connect or Glass or DevOps. For Connect, it will be Connect or D1 Connect. I don't remember. It will be one of that name. What you just need to do is you have to change that in your Jenkins file to point to the actual agent that you want to run in. And remember one thing, okay, that agent has a specific name. You just cannot call it as whatever the D1 LFI something 07. You cannot call it. There's a local name to it. So the way you can get that name is either ask or go to Jenkins master, and on the left hand side it shows all the names. It'll be named with a domain name to it. You have to pick up with the domain name and then attach it over there. When I say attach it, just copy and paste it. Replace your name.
Yes.
That agent.
Yes, I did the same. I copied the label node name and then I pasted it over here. And then I triggered the release build. But after that, again, when I go to the replay, it is showing the previous label, previous node name again. I didn't understand that.
No, I mean, did you commit your changes? That's a question, right? I mean, after you updated this name, did you commit your changes? The Jenkins file, did you commit and push it to the repository?
Oh, I didn't change anything in the Bitbucket. I have changed it only in Jenkins console.
No, then if you do it in Jenkins console, it's an ephemeral change. That change will not stick around. Everything for us, right? So when you say you changed it in the console, you did a replay and you changed it, correct? Right?
Yes, you're right.
Yeah. So you replayed and you changed it during the replay. So it is only for that replay. Now you try to do a replay again on top of it. You'll still see the older changes.
Okay.
So the only way that when you did a replay and if the build ran, you should go into the logs of Jenkins and look at which agent is it running on. If it ran on the agent that you actually specified, then you are good. Just take a screenshot and say, here's the release build. Here are the logs. This is where it ran, and you're done.
Okay. Thank you.
Still not understanding?
Yeah, got you. Understand.
Right. So primarily what I would usually do is I would just make a change to Jenkins file, commit it, make it run. And usually I will do it when all the other nodes are down. If the nodes are down and I know there's only one node that is working node, all the others are not working, I will fix it to that specific node to run on. But you know what, whatever I just said is not really going to help you if you do not know the concept of how the scheduling of slaves really take place. So irrespective of whatever I said, you will not really understand what I'm saying. So my question to you would be, do you know Jenkins master and Jenkins slave concept?
Yes, I know that concept.
And now usually the way people know it is they know about a hardwired nodes. Each one of them is hardwired nodes. But in our case, it is not hardwired. It is a node. Inside it is creating a container, and the slave is here. This is the slave. So there is this node. Inside node, when the build runs, it basically creates a Docker container, and the build is running inside the container. That is where I think the disconnect is. And over here, that's exactly what I was trying to show you. So there'll be a Docker block, and inside Docker block, there will be several more blocks, like there will be credentials specified, there'll be a volume mount specified, there'll be a name and the label specified. So based on this, it picks up the right node, it creates a Docker container, it runs the build inside it. After the build is done, the Docker container is destroyed. Are you aware about that part? Jyoti?
Yeah, Docker container will be created. I know that. Container will be destroyed. I have no idea about that immediately.
Yeah, container gets destroyed. So
Okay.
the thing is, it is pretty early. Maybe what we will do is we can do a one-on-one. I don't want others who has not even heard about Jenkins, right, to get confused about it. So we can do a one-on-one if you have specific to work conditions. The thing is, to talk about this, right, we will have to, if I have to really give you details, we'll have to get to a level wherein we talk about Jenkins, we talk about containers, we talk about Docker containers as agents, Jenkins agents, and then move forward from there. Things will get a little more complex when you talk about deployment, basically, because then they're using Kubernetes plugin. So all of that is easy. It's not tough, but instead of just answering you a question that you're asking, right, I'll have to give you a background about it. Only then you'll be able to understand it well. But so far, whatever you got right now, is that enough for you to move forward, or is that still a roadblock?
Enough. I understand.
Okay, good. Anybody else has question? Mansa, Saujanya, Romana?
No, sir.
Okay, you guys are tired?
No.
Yeah. All right. So we'll meet not tomorrow, maybe Monday, right? We have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Okay. So think about it. If you want to do a 2 hours session, which will practically go 2.5 hours on a Friday and a Saturday, so you get the whole Sunday and the whole week to work on assignments, we can do that. That way we'll be able to make a lot more progress than doing it 1 hour, distributing the same amount of hours as 1 hour. So think about it and let me know. Okay, so the next thing that we are going to look at is we are going to spend a little more time with Groovy, so that while we are working on all the other things and coming to Jenkins, you'll have a good hand on Groovy. And then when we move to Jenkins and start working on Jenkins file, you'll not feel not at home. Okay, so you'll feel as if you're at home. So that's the reason why I want to catch up on Groovy. So Groovy and Linux command or basically shell scripting is what I want to focus on, those two things. And Git, you're anyway going to follow because the whole session today was on Git. So as and when you collaborate, you get into merge situation, we'll talk about each and every condition. Any other suggestion, Jyoti, do you have that we should cover quickly?
You have explained very well, Samir.
Okay, so I want to come to Jenkins. The reason is, right, if we run right now, Saujanya and Rumana are going to fall. I mean, I don't know about Mansa, how well she knows everything that I'm talking about. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to really clear your fundamentals. If your foundation is clear, everything else that comes your way, you'll find it very easy. Right? If your foundation is not clear, you'll only try to troubleshoot things without understanding what it is. I want your foundations to be very, very clear. Okay. All right. So the plan is will tomorrow what time? 7 to 8 or 7:30 to 8:30?
I think 7:30 to 8:30.
Okay.
7 to
Sure. Let's do 7:30 to 8:30 because I have a hard commitment at 9 o'clock. So I will need to break at least 15 minutes before 9 o'clock. Will you see, this is where the problem is. You will not get enough time to explore Groovy right now. And we immediately get into tomorrow. Do you think you have enough time to go through Groovy list and Groovy maps? Saujanya and Romana, this is the question for you.
I think I'll vote for Friday and Saturday option for me, because you'll still be covering the same, you'll still be spending same hour.
Yeah, the runway, basically I get a longer runway, right? 1 hour becomes a very short runway for me to clear fundamentals, and I don't want to rush. If I rush, it's not going to be justified to you. Even if we spend like 3 hours straight on one single day, right? You probably will understand, because I'm going so slow, right? I'm going so slow. Like I can really increase my speed, but it might not help. But anyway, let's continue with this 1 hour for some more days. If we really see problem, then we will think about extending it a little bit. Sure.
Otherwise,
Saujanya,
we can also plan on Saturday and Sunday. 2 hours, 2 hours. 2 days holidays for us.
Saturday, Sunday only, you're saying?
Yeah, 2 hours, 2 hours, totally 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can do that. Saturday and Sunday, I mean, should be fine. But anyway, let's continue. Let's have a class tomorrow, and we will. I mean, it's not right to make a decision right now, right? So let's have a class tomorrow. But before tomorrow, however you guys do it, like tomorrow the whole day, right? Make sure you go through the list and maps. I will spend some time tomorrow, but I want to really spend some time exercising with you on list and map, because when you're working with Jenkins file, you'll come to this site again and again. Saujanya?
Yes, Samir.
Were you able to understand with the speed? Was it slow, fast, perfect? Were you?
Okay. Not too fast, not too slow.
Okay, so you were able to understand everything that
yes, yes.
So
if possible, can you send recording by tonight?
Yeah, I can. You know what? Let's stop.
If I go through it again